Worse than war is the fear of it. Seneca. Throughout human history, there has never been a shortage of challenges and adversities. The trajectory of civilization is punctuated by devastating events such as wars, epidemics, and natural disasters, which have brought periods of great darkness, filled with suffering and loss of life. These critical moments have not only tested people's resilience, but have also shaped the philosophies and perspectives that have guided our understanding of the world. If you want to learn how to overcome your fears and improve your day-to-day life, subscribe to the channel and leave your like for more content that will help you. The ancient Stoics, notable for their wisdom and resilience, were no exception. Like everyone, they experienced their share of difficulties and trials. However, it was precisely the facing of these adversities that underpinned the depth and robustness of their philosophies. For them, difficulties were not merely challenges to be overcome, but essential elements of life that shaped their character and worldview. In times of great uncertainty, it is common for people to fear for the stability and comfort of their lives, a fear that is not only realistic, but often inevitable. The prospect of facing profound changes brought about by misfortune, without knowing where these transformations will take us, can be extremely stressful. The Stoics offer valuable lessons on how to deal with external circumstances and find inner peace even in the face of difficulties and uncertainty about the future. In a society where unbridled consumption is the norm and companies condition us to believe that we need their products to feel complete, the line between what is really essential and what is superfluous has often become invisible. In this context, discerning what is truly necessary and what is just an artificial construction of needs is fundamental to maintaining a balanced and satisfying life. In developed countries, people often don't worry about their basic needs, as these are largely guaranteed. However, when difficult times approach, it is crucial to clarify our priorities and learn to deal with uncertainty. Firstly, it's vital to remember the dichotomy of control, keeping in mind that we only have control over our own actions and reactions. If you like the video, send it to that person you love, but they worry too much. Epictetus teaches us that aspects such as our body, possessions, and reputation are out of our direct control. For example, during an economic downturn, we don't have much power over how the situation unfolds. We could face significant losses on the stock market, lose our jobs, and, consequently, our source of income. From a Stoic perspective, by basing our happiness on these external factors, we are essentially setting ourselves up for disappointment. Stoicism encourages us to anchor our happiness and inner peace in our own attitudes and choices, not in circumstances that are beyond our control. In this way, even in the face of adversity, we can find stability and satisfaction by focusing on what we really can control, our own conduct and resilience. As Epictetus said, and I quote, "Things under our control are by nature free, unrestricted, unfettered, but those not under our control are weak, servile, restrained, belonging to others." Remember, then, that if you assume that things which are servile by nature are also free, and that what belongs to others is yours, then you will be hindered. End of quote. The Stoics make a clear distinction between virtue, vice, and indifference. Virtue and vice refer to our actions and behavior. For example, acting for the benefit of the community, such as providing food to the needy, is considered a virtue. On the other hand, exploiting the needs of others in order to make excessive profit is seen as a vice. Indifference, on the other hand, are external circumstances that have no intrinsic moral value and are beyond our control, such as wealth, health, illness, weakness, and poverty. In short, indifference are external factors that we cannot directly control. Why is this important? Because in difficult times, what is threatened are these indifference, not our ability to act according to our principles. Does this mean that we shouldn't care about these external things? Not exactly. We need some of these indifference for our survival, such as food and shelter. However, when we face difficulties, it's useful to reconsider what we really need and focus on the essentials, letting go of unnecessary worries. On the brink of an economic collapse, for example, how essential is it really to own a vast array of luxurious goods? And to what extent can social status guarantee food and protection against diseases that make no distinction between rich and poor? The more we cling to these external aspects, the greater our anguish at the possibility of losing them. The key is to find balance, valuing what is really necessary and maintaining serenity in the face of uncertainty and inevitable loss. Leave a like and a comment if you identify with this video. The truth is that it is possible to be fully happy and content even without certain material possessions. Another essential lesson from the Stoics deals with death and suffering. Although it may seem straightforward, these aspects are part of nature. In the West, this topic is often treated as taboo. Death is often seen as something negative and tragic, something to be avoided at all costs. Our quest for a comfortable life tends to minimize pain and suffering as much as possible. However, in difficult times, it is important to recognize that no one has a guaranteed right to a long and healthy life. The history of our planet is marked by tragedy and violence. Animals and humans kill each other on a daily basis, children die at birth, and the Black Death wiped out half of Europe's population. Why, then, should we consider that we have the right to be spared the natural hardships of life? The concept of memento mori, which means remember death, reminds us that death and suffering are inevitable and inherent to existence. By accepting this reality, we can find some relief in the idea that the worst things that happen to us are actually quite natural. Like Socrates, who faced death with serenity, Seneca also found peace in death. He believed that death is a form of liberation and the end of all pain, a return to the peaceful rest that precedes our birth. I quote, "Death is a liberation and an end to all sorrows. Beyond it, our sufferings cannot extend. It restores us to the peaceful rest we were in before we were born. If one pities the dead, one must also pity those who have not been born." End of quote. A final piece of Stoic advice for finding serenity in the midst of adversity is to remember that we do not control our destiny. Although we can influence the future through the actions we take in the present, outcomes are so intertwined with external circumstances that guaranteeing a specific result is impossible. We could face economic collapse, lose our jobs, face large-scale poverty, and see many people suffer and die. No amount of worrying can change these realities. So why don't we let go of the weight of the future, recognizing that, whatever happens, we have total control over the most powerful weapon we possess, our own mind and our own thoughts? If we are able to accept death, we are also able to face life's difficulties. The good news is that everything is in constant flux and change, just like night and day, fall and spring. So this phase will also pass. History has shown that people have managed to overcome the most challenging situations and that these experiences have often made them more humble, more human, and more grateful for life. So every outcome has its positive aspects. And regardless of what the future holds, no one can take away our power to make the best of every situation. Thanks for watching.